Hello everyone, Patrice Juandano here. My topic today is emergentism. Emergentism comes from the word emerge, and later you will know why it's called emergentism. Now, this is another theory or another principle for language teaching. So, what I'm going to talk about is a principle of emergentism which can be applied to any kind of language teaching. So you can teach English, or you can teach Indonesian or Mandarin or Indonesian or Japanese or any other language. My point here is that the principle of emergentism will help you to learn how to teach better and why you have to teach that way according to the principle of emergentism. Okay, let's dive into my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so this is the topic for today, emergentism. Now let me get to the first slide. Emergentism is actually it's very simple, it's very simply defined. So emergentism is actually a language ability that emerges from the interaction between language input. Language input is all the language elements that your learners hear, or your learners read, or your learners are exposed to. And then second is cognitive abilities. That is their act of attending to your explanation, maybe to a language pattern, to new words. Yeah. Also, it is also the act of memorizing new words, memorizing new patterns, yeah, and retrieving from the memory those new patterns. So that is cognitive abilities or cognitive skills. It's the power of their thinking. And then the last one is the social interaction. So what we call emergentism is actually an interaction between these three. First is the language input, their cognitive power, and the social interaction that they have. Yeah, so this is the principle of emergentism. Yeah, okay. Now let me discuss input. Input is when your learners read or listen to target language texts and utterances that they can understand. So this is the input. Everything that they hear, everything that they read and understand is called the input. If you speak to your learners and they understand your speech, it is they are receiving the input from you. If they read a text and then they understand what is it that they are reading, then it is also the input. The text, the words in the text are the input for them. Okay, so this is input. Yeah. Okay, the second element that I mentioned is cognitive learning, their cognitive skills. This is when your learners study grammar patterns. Yeah, for example, patterns of present simple tense, or patterns of past tense, patterns of affirmative sentences, interrogative patterns, and etc. Also, when they learn new vocabulary, when they learn from you a list of new words and they memorize the words, yeah, that's when they activate their cognitive skills. It's about their thinking. Also, when they learn new expressions or new idiomatic expressions, new phrases. So cognitive learning is actually the thing that happens in their mind when they learn something, when they learn the language, when they learn grammar, when they learn vocabulary. Yeah, it's all got to do with their cognitive, with their thinking skills. Yeah. Now, interaction is when learners talk to each other. They talk to people outside class. So, for example, once your class is over, they go to outside class, they meet native speakers, they talk to the native speakers, they meet other people in a conversation club, and then they talk to them. Now that's called interaction. Also, it happens when your learners learn the language of the target, the culture of the target language. So if your learners are learning English, they will learn about English culture, English speaking culture. Yeah. Also, it happens when they engage in social activities with the target language. So as I said before, they probably go and join a conversation club, and this is one of the social activities, right? And they use the target language, they use English to talk with the people in the club. Now that is an instance of interaction. That's when learners interact with people outside the class. It's when your learners learn about the culture of the target language. Now this is called interaction, and it is important in emergentism. Now next one is okay. Now let me give you an example of emergence in speaking. Is, as I said before, emergentism has something to do with what emerges, what is muncul. Yeah, emerge is muncul. Yeah, what emerges in a language learning situation. So the case that I'm giving you is a speaking class. The teacher says, "My name is Patricius. What is your name?" And then the student says, "I name is Amalia. I name." Yeah. See here, I name is actually something that emerges from the student's response. It emerges. Yeah. And then the teacher, seeing that this is something to be commented, something to give feedback to, and then he would say something like, "Oh, my name is Amalia." So he corrects the utterance. "My name is Amalia." Yes, say, "My name is Amalia." So you can look at the bold-faced phrases here. Those are the words that emerge from the interaction. And as soon as the words emerge, the teacher calls the student's attention to that, and then the teacher tries to give the correct version. So it's something that emerges from a natural conversation. Yeah. And then the student goes on, "I school SMA 1. And then she kind of hesitate. Saya sekolah di SMA 1 itu apa ya Inggrisnya? She wants to know how to say, "Saya bersekolah di SMA 1. Yeah. And then the teacher says, "I go to SMA 1. Now this is the correct version. Again, the phrase "I school" is something that emerges from their conversation. And also the way the teacher corrects the utterance is also emerged. Yeah, so the student's attention is now focused on the thing or the element that emerges during the conversation. The teacher corrects the utterance, hoping that the students notice the utterance and corrects her utterance. Yeah, so it's a case of emergence, something that emerges during the conversation, during the interaction with other people. Okay. Now let's see. Okay, now here comes the exercise. Yeah. So try to create a lesson plan that applies the principles of emergentism in your language class. Yeah. So you can apply the principles of emergentism in a language class. Try to draw a lesson plan, a plan that contains the principles of emergentism for your language class. Okay. Yeah, I guess that will be all. So I hope my video has helped you understand the principle of emergentism and help you to enhance, to refine, to improve the quality of your language teaching. See you again in my next episode.